Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that dial. We have a great show for you today. We have a visitor from England, okay? And also we have a retired county detective, chief of county detective, district attorney's office. And we have a lot to talk about, but I have a couple short announcements before we start interviewing our very important. And we also have a rug here that the Queen of England, when she visited she visited the United States. She was in Philadelphia. Mayor Rizzo welcomed her, and they had a rug, a red rug, where the Queen walked on the red rug, and they cut the rug up and give everybody, all the dignitaries, rug. Frank Rizzo gave me this rug, so you will see it here. I get an opportunity, maybe I'll dance on it. But okay, now I'm starting my 24th year on this show here at Northtown High School. I started here, the first show I ever had, I interviewed a Japanese police officer that came to the United States to talk about the police in the United States. And I brought him up here to interview 24 years ago. And the person to interviewing wasn't here. He said, will you do it? I said, okay. Next thing you know, here I am. 24 years later, still have the thing. And I'm only one year short of Oprah. I'm going to beat her. She did 24 years. Jay Leno did 19. I beat him. I want to catch up to Oprah. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, and he will introduce his guest because we're going to tell you how she came to the United States and where she is and what she's doing, okay? Ready? So, in this corner, my former chief from the county detective, Chief Oscar Vance. You'll always be a chief as far as I'm concerned, okay?
Thank you. Thank
now,
you.
Chief, tell me something about yourself.
Okay, Hank, as you very well know, and I know you as Rock also, we worked together for about 20 years, and I've been with the district attorney's office for 48 years. I retired January the 17th, and I went to work on January the 18th in my own company. It's known as Vance Investigations and Corporate
Solutions. Cherry Street,
Solutions.
Norristown, right?
Yes.
Right here in the county seat.
Absolutely. And we put together a phase 1, and then now we're into phase 2, which is another organization that we call Vance Community Partners, Inc., which is a nonprofit organization, which you'll hear more about.
That's in the process right
yes.
now. Right.
And being with the district attorney's office, as a police officer, connected with a police organization called the International Police Association. And the International Police Association is an organization which is throughout the entire world. It's actually the largest police organization in the world. There's approximately 450 members in that organization.
450,000.
450,000.
Right.
And basically what we do is we cooperate with other law enforcement officers. It's a social organization where we exchange both families and students and things of that nature in terms of police families.
Right.
And in this particular case today, we are entertaining a visitor from the United Kingdom. So
that's England.
England, that's
okay.
correct. Yeah, most of us know it as England, but it's the United Kingdom.
You know, I speak 3 languages.
Yes.
American, Italian, and British. Okay, that's an old joke. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, with our visitor today, you have to listen very closely because she speaks perfect English.
Good.
Okay?
Yeah, she still has an accent, though.
Absolutely.
You know, me with my hearing aids, between her and the accent, I have a little problem.
Right. And before I introduce her, I bought a little prop today, and this is called the International Police Association, and this is the actual banner of our organization here in Pennsylvania. And I'm the president of the International Police Association Region number 13, which is located in Pennsylvania. And this is our logo here, and as you can see, it has the Keystone State seal, and we have the Liberty Bell, which is our Liberty Bell, which is located in Philadelphia at Independence Hall, and this is the logo for the International Police Association, and as it states here, that the birthplace of the United States of America, which is located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And this, we cherish this, and also I'm going to give this to our guests.
Take it back to England.
Yes.
I have to say that the IPA, International Police, when we went to Italy, my wife and I, we made a contact, and the Italian police met us, and they took us different places and all, just like we're doing here. But we stayed in hotels, whereas today, she's staying with my daughter.
Right.
She's
So I'm
gonna
going to
be here for 3
introduce her.
weeks.
I'm going to introduce her now. And,
Go ahead.
her name is Naomi Wood. And Naomi Wood's father is Tim Wood, and they are from the county in the United Kingdom known as Gloucestershire. And am I pronouncing it right? Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire.
Yeah, there you are.
It's a tough one for me. I'm glad you came.
And her father is a retired police officer there, and he had been a policeman for 30 years as a police officer in the United Kingdom. So right now, Naomi is studying from the University of Warwick University and
Warwick.
Okay.
Warwick.
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 W-A-R. W-I-C-K, Warwick University. And she is studying for her PhD degree, and it is a study that she is doing concerning Quaker women. And
Quaker women.
Quaker
Yeah.
women. And this is a rather unique study because it involves research which she is doing at Swarthmore College and also Haverford College. So for the next 3 weeks, she will be studying for her PhD and her thesis, and she'll tell you more about that when we get to her conversation. And right now, she is staying with Hank's daughter, who
Mary.
is Mary, and we're just so delighted that she is able to stay at a police family,
Right.
family's home of somebody of Hank Cisco's character and the
Right.
and the wonderful hospitality of his daughter Mary.
And
So
when she hit the shores, and you had a sign, I forgot to bring it, but her name at the airport, you were there because you didn't know what she looked like, you didn't know, and
Right.
you had her name there, so she would know, and then you had your name there also, right?
that's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
That's
And
correct.
then you came to Norristown, and I met her when your car pulled up and had a American flag, waving an American flag. And then we had dinner at my house, and we had ravioli, we had meatballs, we had sausage, we had what else? We had everything. A little vino, you know. Nobody got hit, you know. But it's very good, and it was very nice. My whole family was there to welcome her, so we welcome you now. Go ahead.
Okay, so Naomi is a very interesting person from the standpoint of her studies, and I was asking her the question about William Penn, and she answered a question as a result of some research that she did. I didn't know William Penn was buried over in the United Kingdom, and
I thought he was in Philadelphia.
no, he is the founder of Pennsylvania, better known as Penn's Woods at that particular time. And he is buried over
He's a Quaker.
He's a Quaker.
Yeah.
He is a Quaker, and he's buried over in the United Kingdom. So, Naomi, why don't you tell us about some of the studies and things that you're doing?
Well,
Look at me. And
Well,
then because that camera's going to be looking at you. Okay?
Yeah. Well, William Penn, he's actually buried in Buckinghamshire, which is not too far from Gloucestershire, where my father was a police officer. But yeah, with my research, I'm looking at Quaker women in the 17th century and the 18th century, specifically when families came over to America with William Penn and sort of settled in Pennsylvania, and I'm sort of trying to look at the more ordinary aspects of their lives. So trying to see how their lives were affected by being Quakers and what they did in their daily lives as a result of that.
What do you mean, how they were treated? The Quakers were
yes.
treated in the United States? Like what? Is this history repeating itself now?
Well, I mean, when they first came to America, specifically when they first came to New England, they were persecuted brutally. And there's a statue in Boston of Mary Dyer, who was actually hanged for being a Quaker.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they were hated because they were seen as radical. They sort of stood against all the established religious ideas, really, and as a result of that, they had to develop an organisation to kind of manage the sort of sufferings that they had, and also kind of keep going with their everyday lives. And yeah.
And now you go over to Swarthmore College.
Uh-huh.
What's the scoop over there?
Well, I'm using a library that's part of Swarthmore College called Friends Historical Library, and at Haverford I'm using a special Quaker collection which they have at the college library, and they basically contain all of the intellectual content relating to Quakerism in America in the time period that I'm looking at. So they're big colleges, and there's some really interesting manuscripts there.
How do they treat you over there at Swarthmore?
Oh, they're absolutely fantastic.
You know, when Oscar says, we got a visitor come from the police, the police wasn't going to talk about police, and said, well, what are you studying? Quakers. What do I know about Quakers? You know, I know they got the place on Jacoby and Sweet Street, and I've been there a couple of times, you know. But on my show, I've had Catholics, I've had Protestants, and I've just about everybody, Muslims and everything else. So when he said that, I said, that's very interesting, and that's why I want to know as much. Our audience would like to know more about it, and it's great because it's something new, you know. A lot of Quakers, and in fact, we have a council person that's a Quaker.
Yeah.
And tell me about, you have somebody working for you that's a Quaker.
There's a young lady that works in our office, and Victoria Satterthwaite, and she's our marketing expert. And
that's in the office for the...
Yeah, in the present office in my private detective office. And she is a very interesting person from the standpoint that her father was associated with not only a Quaker, but also he had a person that was employed by him who was his secretary, who was tied in with direct descendant of William Penn.
Wow.
So that was a coincidence that we had this person, and of course Naomi's going to meet Victoria and get some information, and she has some paraphernalia and whatnot that she's going to give to Naomi. But you know what's interesting was when Naomi came over, I said, well, can you drive? And she said, oh, yes, I can drive. I said, well, wait a minute. Over in England, you ride on the left-hand side of the road. And
you didn't hit nobody yet, did you?
And also, most of the cars over there are stick shift, you know, with the gear shift. So she wanted to get a car that had a gear shift on it. And I said, well, let's go over and we'll take a look. So anyway, we got her a car over there, and she got a rental car, which is a Honda. And
where's the steering wheel, left or right?
No, the steering wheel is in the right place, but it's an automatic. So she can tell you her experiences about driving an automatic in America.
What's the scoop on it?
Yeah, it's. I don't know if I want to go back now to driving a stick shift again, back in England. But it's it's actually been fine. I think I've actually taken to it quite well. I've got quite used to being on the wrong side of the road.
Now tell me something about yourself. You're a very attractive girl. You have a boyfriend?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Well, you do. You're not married, are you?
No, I'm engaged, though.
You're engaged?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They don't have a song for engagement, do they? No, they have a song for wedding. Now, here comes the bride, but they don't have one for engagement. Here comes the engagement. Okay, that's something else now. Go ahead.
June.
What's he do for a living?
He works for a tyre company called it's called Bridgestone, and they make the tyres for like Formula One cars and in motorsport. And it's more of an office job, but he actually graduated from a university called Plymouth in England, and he studied media. So he he studied television, film, photography. So he'll be interested in seeing
You know,
this.
everybody, if I went to England, you would
Yeah.
say, "Did you ever meet the President of the United States?" And I would say, "Well, I met some. I haven't met the President one, but I've met, as they were passing
Yeah.
by." Did you ever see the Queen?
No, I haven't. I've never met the Queen.
No, I don't meet her, but you've been in with a parade or something?
No, I don't think so. In Gloucestershire, Prince Charles, the Queen's son, he lives in Gloucestershire, and my father used to actually guard his house. That used to be one of his details.
Oh.
So he used to be sort of.
Well, she don't travel much, or that's in the small towns, does she?
She travels quite a bit. She's got a sort of holiday home in Scotland, which is the other side of the country.
Now you mentioned the county that you came from. What town are you from?
I'm from a town called Cheltenham.
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 Hey, he's from Cheltenham.
I know.
We have a town here in Montgomery County called Cheltenham, and we'll make sure that you visit the Cheltenham Township Police
Right,
Department.
right.
And that's
Yeah.
where they got the name from,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my daughter Mary took you for a ride around Valley Forge yesterday.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
And also you visit the new casino over there. You didn't go broke or anything. You just was sightseeing, you know. But I think Mary did all right, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did all right,
Yeah,
too.
she put it down to beginner's luck.
So what's your first impression of America?
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful. Everyone's been so friendly. I had a great welcome when I got
Wow.
here at the
Well.
Cisco household, and obviously Mary's been fantastic.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, Oscar, I called Oscar last week. I says, Oscar, how about having lunch? So we went up to an Asian restaurant and we eat, and he says, I got a girl coming from England, and we're going to a place to stay, and So I says, well, maybe my daughter Mary. So, okay.
Right.
So last night, well, she said you'd stay, or Mary said, well, 1 week. You said 1 week?
Yeah, 1 week.
You
right.
had to look someplace else where you're going to stay. So last night, Mary says, you tell Oscar that she can stay at my place for 3 weeks, you know. And she was riding around
Yeah.
and took you over to Swarthmore. So, or no, give, what's his name, Marsh a plug.
Right,
Yeah.
Detective.
Tell what Marsh does.
Yeah, Detective Richard Marsh. He's also with the International Police Association, and he did a fantastic job in terms of meeting me Sunday. And the two of us, we went down to the airport and we met Naomi there and brought her back. You know, I want to just say this, that through the International Police Association, in terms of an example, in terms of Naomi being here, one of the important things that we want to do is to give other people a bird's eye look in terms of, what we are as Americans, give them a flavor in terms of what the police family is like, in terms of living with them and meeting the various people that are in the communities. And also, we'll take her around to the various police departments,
Right.
so that she'll have a good flavor and understanding in terms of what our town is about, and mainly what the people are about.
Right. Well, that's
And,
why I want to get right
Yeah.
into families,
Yeah.
You stay in a hotel. Like sometimes we go to these conferences, we stay in a hotel, you're there, we don't see anything at the airport and all, So here you see the flavor of the community
Yeah.
and the people.
I've definitely got that so far.
Right,
So
right.
far.
What's your favorite food?
What's my lasagna?
Italian food.
Italian
Well, you hit the
food.
right spot.
Yeah, I know.
Get the salsiccia.
Yeah, when we were
Papalucci's.
when we were riding in the car coming up from Philadelphia, I asked her the same question. What's your favorite food? What do you like? She said lasagna. I said, don't worry. The house that you're going to, you're going to get plenty of lasagna.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we're going to have some tonight.
I cooked sausage and peppers and onions, and had that. And my grandson, he's a policeman in West Norton, Anthony Morano. So he came in, he saw me cook, and said, "Save some for me for tomorrow." So you didn't. I just made a sandwich for you today.
Yeah. It's
That-
one. Well, yeah. I mean, it's
Right.
more than I could
What do you
expect.
now? You're going to make this report, right?
Uh-huh.
And what do you do with the report?
What do I? Well, I'm writing. I'm working towards an 80,000 word thesis, which is it's book length, and when I finish my PhD, I will be looking to get that published, do tweak it a bit. And
Can we have a copy of that?
yeah, I'm sure you.
Is that confidential or no?
Oh no. It will.
Okay.
I mean, it will. As soon as I finish my course, it goes. An electronic copy will be available at the British Library, which.
Right.
So I think it's important that you give us the old slogan, an informed nation is a peaceful nation. So if you know what's about, say, well, it's a Quaker. They don't know. Well, I've seen they demonstrate against war. They demonstrate. I have to give you a live experience. When I was a policeman, I wore a uniform, right? And I went to a meeting, and there was all different religions and, priests. And this one lady comes and says, I'm a Quaker. I says, well, that's nice. What do I know about Quaker? I'm a Catholic. I go to communion.
Yeah.
Right.
So she says, why do you carry a gun? I'm not so, what do you mean? I had a gun here, Says, you shouldn't be carrying a gun. So they're for peace.
Yeah.
And then the English don't, they before they didn't carry guns, they carry guns now.
Right.
Do they? I don't know.
No, we in the English it's
They don't carry guns?
illegal to carry guns.
Just a nightstick and a bobby hat. Hey, talking about bobby hat. Here we are.
Speaking of the hat that The Rock is wearing, that is a constable hat. Okay, now, many of you heard the word cop, C-O-P, you hear that word cop. That means constable on patrol.
That's constable.
Constable on patrol, and that's where that's where the word cop came from. And
constable
also,
on
cop,
patrol.
Yeah, constable on patrol. The hat you're wearing is a bobby hat, and I'll let Naomi tell you what a bobby hat is.
What's a bobby?
A bobby, there is, Robert Peel founded the English police force, and police officers were nicknamed bobbies after Robert. So that's where the word bobby comes from.
And we pattern the police department here, police departments in America after Peel.
Right.
After Peel.
Peel,
so
right,
he was more or less the founder in terms of.
Before it used to be
police.
Volunteer patrol in the town and all until they developed the police department.
Matter of fact, in 1925, the state police wore that same type of hat that you're wearing
They
now.
were high, yeah.
The same
in
type
fact,
of hat.
I remember Chief Moody.
Yeah, Chief Moody, Charles G. Moody, who was the chief county
Like
detective.
the state police used to wear them.
Right, he was the chief county detective.
Now they wear for riot hats, something like this for a riot. We didn't ever have riot hats.
Right, he was the chief county detective in Montgomery County from 1957 all the way up until the 1970s.
Now the Americans, we salute like this, and the English salute like this, right? No?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No, they salute the same way we do.
Well, this hat was given to me by a visiting English police officer that came to the United States, and then I have a lot of hats from different police departments throughout the world, and every time they come to visit, I would ask them to bring a hat. So I have them from Greece, I have them from Romania, and I don't have one from Russia. You have one from Russia.
Yeah, I collect hats, police hats. Usually the ones that I collect are those hats that are very rare that you'll probably never see again. And I have I have two hats from East Germany, one their winter hat and summer hat. I have one from Soviet Union, which does not exist anymore. A lieutenant from over there gave me that hat as a result of Lieutenant Ferzato from the district attorney's office was visiting over there, and I told him, I said, see if you can get me a hat. And sure enough, not only did he get me the hat, but I had direct conversation with the lieutenant at that time.
How about that?
On the
well, you were chief
internet.
county detective. You had all them contacts worldwide.
Yeah, but it was on the internet. Just on the internet, I spoke to him. Yes.
Wow.
I asked my friend John McBride and Yan, they go to China, and we exchange teachers back and forth. I said, bring a hat back from China. No way. They wouldn't give him. Said, no, we won't let no police hats leave this country.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, I don't want to bring a hat over there and shoot me. I don't, But I was surprised that, every other country I have different symbols and things from different countries. Police, as a result of international police, was very, bringing people together, you know.
In my conference room down at 212 Cherry Street, I have a collection of hats, police hats. And if you ever come down there, if you know you've been there, and
Yeah.
we'll have Naomi see that collection that we
I have mine too, right? So
Yeah,
we
and
can
you
go
have a
both
tremendous
places,
collection,
right?
yeah.
But yours is more in depth.
Yeah.
So all right, now you're going to be here, and when you go over to Swarthmore College, who do you deal with? Somebody that knows all about Quaker history and all?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're going to go to Philadelphia Library too,
Sure.
and Mary's going to take you down, I
Yeah.
think, show around. It's pretty tough for you to come to the United States and not. You had to go to Center City, Philly, and so
Yeah.
Right.
thank God, we
Yeah,
have all
I'm
these
being
people
looked
come to your
after,
aid. But what are you looking for down in the library in Philly? Why not the library in Montgomery County?
Mainly the library in Philadelphia. There's big collections of family papers. Basically I want to go through the papers relating to Quaker women.
In other words, they have the documented.
Yeah,
there.
the
Yeah, I
original,
see what you
the
mean.
original the original manuscripts, like correspondence, and today at Swarthmore I found some correspondence between Quaker women in Philadelphia and Quaker women in London in sort of the 1680s. It's
Right.
amazing that there was this sort of transatlantic communication going on even back then. So, yeah.
And your dad, police officer, right?
Yes.
And you say sometime he was a guard for the Queen?
He was a guard for Prince Charles, the Queen's son.
Like security.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they come in.
like
Well, that's what happens here when the
security,
president's going
yeah.
to come. They alert all the police
Yeah,
departments.
exactly.
Now, we get a shot of the rug over there for I don't know when they're going to shoot that. I
did.
guess they'll do that later. But before I close up, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you that we're doing a fundraiser for a young fellow. He's a graduate of Norristown High School, Joey Centrum, right? Cintrom. He's paralyzed and he needs a van, a handicapped van. So they're having some Colson's detail. They're doing washing cars. That's on the 23rd of this month. And then on the 29th, they're going to have a backyard fish fry at 1506 Powell Street, right 2 blocks away from where I live. It's going to be a fundraiser. Go over there. And then they're going to, Richard Booknight is going to have his barber shop at 213 East Main Street. All the money he makes between 11 and 5, he's going to donate for this here handicapped van. And then on the 10/20 beef and beer down at Savior Hall, that's the old Holy Savior's thing. Big cafeteria, okay? So there's going to be a big one there. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. 24 years, I'm still here. Went through 2 hip replacements, cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, 2 things, 2 hearing aids, and I'm still bobbing and weaving. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for allowing us to come into your home, and we will continue this a little later with about this Quaker study. We're going to get more about it when we get it. We have Chief Vance, employee, will follow up on this, and we're going to have the chief back. We're going to talk about Alzheimer's, whatever. It's my wife, the lady that takes care of my wife. She hurts her nephew, and she asked me if I would help plug something for a fundraiser. So everybody's helping everybody. So I want to thank you very much for allowing us to come in, and may God bless each and every one. Thank you very much
Thank you
over
very
here.
much.
And Oscar, it's
Thank
been
you,
a
Hank.
pleasure. We've been together, how many years?
About 30 years.
30 years, okay. So until we meet again, keep bobbing and weaving, okay? And let's get salud. Ready? Salud means to your health. If you got your health, you got everything. Keep bobbing and weaving.